But yeah, the show we started off with yesterday was AAA.
It was just so much fun. Everyone was larger than life. There was just a lot of people having a lovely, fun time. My favourite was obviously Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana. My favourite was obviously Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana. Mr. Iguana.
Yeah, that's how long we've been talking about Mr. Iguana.
I have never had this experience before. I've never been a deep fan of something before that's become incredibly mainstream, ever. It's never happened. It's always been already mainstream when I've got there. But
I thought exactly the same thing. When this happened, I thought Pete has finally ticked off one of the ones, which is sort of impossible, which is follow someone from the start of their career to being on the main stage. And that is a great moment. Now, it wasn't exactly the start of Mr. Iguana's career. We don't live in Ciudad, Mexico, or wherever, he debuted. Don't know, should have checked, could have checked, didn't. But how does it feel? Did you feel a little bit aggrieved? Or?
Yeah, it's mainly just aggrieved. I'm British, Mark. This is how we all deal with things.
I mean, the show itself, I thought was great fun.
So we're talking about Worlds Collide, right?
Yeah.
Worlds Collide.
I mean, it had the biggest live YouTube audience in WWE's history. It peaked at just 750,000, which...
Mr. Iguana effect.
Exactly. It wasn't even the first Worlds Collide show. They have actually had quite a few Worlds Collide shows. Most of them were NXT just kicking lumps out of people from NXT UK. And they did that until they amalgamated NXT UK into NXT. There was the final one of those that unified those belts between NXT and NXT UK. Saw the NXT wrestler Mandy Rose beat the Japanese legend Meiko Satomura and B. Priestley to win the NXT UK Championship. And Bron Breakker, the NXT champion, beat Tyler Bate to win the UK Championship. So they were very much like the worlds collided and one of the planets remained entirely intact and the other one was just shattered.
Yeah, one world had been soaked in vinegar like a conker.
Yeah. They gave us one sop, which was Pretty Deadly, won the NXT Tag Team Championships. And it's worth saying everyone from the British side has pretty much never performed in WWE again. It was a disaster for us. Now, I mean, there were little vignettes they put in this one where some of the AAA stars, I always call it AAA, it's AAA, and I'll explain why I keep doing that. One of the reasons, I was watching this and they were talking about Antonio Pena, who was the founder of AAA.
Yes.
And Corey Graves just said, there he is, the godfather of Triple H. And I went, hang on, it's not a fucking godfather of Triple H. And I wrote it down. I bet he meant AAA.
Yeah.
And I suddenly thought to myself, if Triple H stays in power, there is no way they are going to have that confusion on a regular basis. They are not going to... Going around the office and just going,
Triple H.
AAA, like that. And he goes, sorry? And just going, oh, no, sorry. No. I said AAA. And he'll just be like, we're going to call it Mexi Wrestle.
And to ask Almsley.
I mean, I think after, the way things are going, though, I mean, obviously that confusion will not be a problem because he won't be there to miss it.
He won't be there anymore. No. I mean, I would say that Corey Graves comes out from most quarters quite positively. People were quite complimentary. And to be honest, like, he is the original Mr. Iguana. He's a fucking lizard. And so, like, he's going to raise this game around Mr. Iguana, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, there's Corey Graves and Konnan. Absolutely terrible.
They finally found a man who could make Corey Graves sound good. I know Connan's had
he's had a lot of health issues as well,
yeah.
But he has had a massive podcast for years and he's a good talker.
Right,
but
yeah.
He was just, I mean, the energy level could not have been more misjudged.
He's just he started so many times. He said, "Let me tell you a story, Corey." I was like, "No, don't tell any stories. You're doing this too slow."
The wonderful timing he did is as the end thing with Vikingo being held aloft. Corey Graves kind of went, "So there we have it. AAA, WWE, when worlds collide. And we are going to be..." And Konnan just went, "Let me just say something." Not now.
Konnan was, let me just say something, all over this show, and he was doing it so slow. And at the match starts, Octagon Junior and all the other ones, and Konnan just basically stops everything and says, I just want to say something. This is Mexican wrestling. It's different.
Can I just say something? He said. He really hit something like you've not been letting me talk. Can I just say something? Let everybody know that watching Lucha Libre for the first time, this is not American wrestling. This is the style of wrestling that was cultivated in Mexico. It's different.
It's different.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Let me just let everybody know that's watching Lucha Libre for the first time. This is not American wrestling, I repeat. This is not American wrestling. This is the style of wrestling that was started and cultivated in Mexico. It's different.
We've just started, mate. You don't have to apologise.
No, and it sounded like he was saying, you're going to think this is different in some way. It is, but it's not different because it's shit.
He sounded really apologetic, didn't he?
He really did. I mean,
God.
It had lots of bits in that were just a bit off, and that made it so much more fun. I mean, they kick off, and I thought they did this really well, which was they did kick off with Rey Mysterio just speaking in Spanish. And I really liked the fact that a lot of this show was in Spanish. Yeah. The guy who comes in to do the sort of little vignettes in between the matches, a guy called Chuy Martinez, he did something which I always find so impressive, which is where you are bilingual and you flip between one language and the other effortlessly. Yeah. And in a way that you aren't going, I've said the Spanish line, now I say the English line. Yeah. He had a great role of just talking. He'd throw in English, and you had that weird thing of going, can I understand Spanish?
He should be the new Duolingo owl.
Yes, I can't hear Duolingo without thinking there's some kind of good parody involving Dua Lipa, and I don't know what it is. I mean, Graves, afterwards, having watched it, I went online, and everyone was like, oh, Graves was amazing.
Yeah.
He was really good. I mean, what a performance from Corey Graves. And I did watch it again, and I did think to myself, it's not bad, but I did think, I watch a lot of wrestling and I love a lot of wrestling. I love talking about wrestling. And I did hear him do it. And I was like, I mean, there were about 5 things that I was like, oh, I wouldn't have known that. But then he's also been paid to do it and to research it. And there's a funny thing, I think, internally where they're a bit impressed that anyone who is employed by WWE likes wrestling and would watch something that isn't WWE. So inner management sort of being just like, you did amazingly there. You'd heard of Psycho Clown. And it just, if you love wrestling, then all of that was, a bit unsurprising, I suppose. And so people were raving about it. But then, Pete, this is a world where people haven't heard of Mr. fucking Iguana. It is worth saying Corey Graves' brother is a very, very big foreign heel in AAA. And he's a guy called Sam Adonis. And he did, probably about 4 years ago, he was very hot with a very pro-Donald Trump American gimmick. And he had obviously, as they both revealed, sat down and taken Graves through AAA and some of the sort of facts and stats and things. And look, it wasn't by any means a bad performance. I think that's the key. But I didn't think it was one where you'd go, one of the best of all time.
No.
Especially, with Konnan there was funny.
Let me just say this real quick. So Psycho comes from a dynasty of about 20 to 21 wrestlers in total.
Los Brazos?
Yeah, Los Brazos, Máximo, Máscara. He's got 2 sisters, Goya, Muñeca de Plata. Beto was telling me that his dad was a promoter who was also a wrestler, and that he used to take Psycho Clown to the airport for his dad, and now they're facing each other in the ring.
They had a lovely couple of vignettes at the start where they just showed Maricela Peña-Roldan, who is the owner.
Oh, I like her. Did we see her at the AAA TV taping? I can't.
I don't think we did. No,
I probably would have remembered that.
Well, you would have done, because you would have thought, oh, is that one of the lead villains from the Hunger Games? She is just a remarkable woman. Hairspray.
Yeah.
Absolute sort of like, that shellac barnet is quite remarkable. In those little vignettes at the start, they start off with Marisela Peña-Roldan watching television, and it's a news report of just great big comets flying towards the Earth. And then they show Psycho Clown and Pagano, and they are watching these comets hit. And I thought it looked fantastic. But I did think about it. But this is just a metaphor, lads. This is a metaphor. These comets, like the ones that wiped out the dinosaurs, are going to wipe you guys out. And it's funny that they are, WWE, very happy to go, we are going to brand this as we are going to destroy the place where the Mexicans are. It's you can't say you didn't know. It was opened with Shawn Michaels standing, just staring into the camera, full on as well, not looking to the side, just looking into your home. And he was standing next to Marisela Peña-Roldan. And she is Trump-like as well, isn't she?
Yes. Oh, is it Trump's mother or is it Elon Musk's mother? It looks like that.
It's Trump's mother. They have a real sort of vibe about that. Ageless and incredible. Not like anyone you've ever seen in real life. You've seen him on TV a lot of times.
Yeah.
But you've never seen him in real life.
It's like Jimmy Savile's mum, the Duchess, who I've never seen. I imagine that's what she looks like, the Duchess.
Yeah. If there was a Saturday Night Live sketch where someone had to dress up as Michael Jackson's mum, that would be the sort of vibe she was giving off. And they were standing there with Triple H and some of the wrestlers for the Mexican national anthem, which I thought was really dignified. It was just a lady came out and sang a cappella, and it was rather beautiful. And Triple H did look like he got teary-eyed. And I thought, well, that's just because he's had another bad week, isn't it? Just the one time he's sitting there where he's just sort of going, oh, this might be over soon, you know? But Blue Demon was there, and he was holding up an urn, and I think Pagano and maybe Laredo Kid were holding up banners of Antonio Peña, the founder.
That's right, yeah.
Roldan, the husband of Marisela, Joaquin Roldan.
Did it happen sort of quite not that long ago? Because it seems that his shadow was casting a hell of a hefty shadow across everything. Because every time you see her, she's obviously got the urn with her and stuff. And I realise that's part of the show, but still, it's like...
Yeah, I think it happened in about 2004.
Oh, really? Right, okay.
I believe. And then Joaquin Roldan, I believe, was something like 2019. So... Right. But Peña has basically been gone for 21 years, and they still very much want him to be one of the faces of the promotion. The banners and the suits and everything, and the South American vibe did make it feel like we were watching the funeral of a sort of Argentinian dictator, which was weird.
Yeah, I mean, and also, there's nothing cooler than a masked luchador in a suit. Like a big boxy suit in a lovely mask. Oh, man, I love that look.
One thing cooler, Pete, that's if the luchador is old. And there is nothing fucking cooler than that. Oh, sorry, isn't there? Yes, there is. If he's holding an urn full of a man's ashes at a wrestling show. Look, Pete, I love wrestling. You know, I know that you love wrestling. I don't mind if, when I'm dead, I don't go to a live wrestling show again. I think it's quite full on. And then you just start with a fucking bang. Out slithers Mr. Iguana. You know, he's got his toy puppet in his mouth. He gets into the ring. He flips that iguana off the floor with his foot. It does a big turn and it lands neatly on his shoulder like he's Mr. fucking Perfect. It was... At that moment, I thought to myself, you're a made man. You're made for life. It landed perfectly. Yeah. Well done. You're a millionaire.
Yeah. La Yesca, the name of the iguana.
La Yesca. Out comes La Yesca, and Corey Graves, he says, "Is this legal in Mexico?" And Konnan just goes, "Yes, it is." Very long silence.
Konnan does a really long and slow, indicating that La Yesca is more over than you, Corey. And Corey takes it with good grace and with good humour, but he was wanting Konnan to do it quicker. He was like, all right, yeah. Well, no arguments over here, Konnan. Could you not take 20 seconds to say that, please?
What I noticed? I've never ever heard it before, but especially on that last one. Corey Graves was silent, but in the silence, I could hear Corey Graves effectively just going, You could hear it. It was silent, but you could hear the noise that Graves must have been making. I mean, Iguana is counting his pin when Layesca is on top of Lince Dorado.
Yeah.
It's a great act when you see it for the first time. A lot of people were seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
It was just everything it needed to be. It is funny when, again, Lince Dorado, he's like a sort of lion, and you just didn't even register he was a lion because you were just looking at a child's puppet. It was just astonishing.
Well, I thought I may have got Lince Dorado confused with there was that wrestler luchador that would come out and lay himself on the ring.
Puma King.
Puma King, of course it was, yes.
Puma King is another one that we saw at the AAA show that we saw Mr. Iguana on. And the fact that Puma King hasn't yet had a WWE run is genuinely upsetting. But don't worry, Pete. They'll discover him soon. Everyone will be like, oh, where did this guy come from?
Where did this guy come from?
Took 2 years, Pete. 2 years. Konnan did another wonderful line here. He said, hey, let me just say one thing. He said, in Mexico, the biggest followers of La Yesca, the iguana, are kids. He said this at a time when Mr. Iguana wasn't even in the ring. So he'd obviously made his notes, I think, and he glanced down and he'd gone, that is a great point to make. Hey, everybody stop. Stop a second. Show some respect. Let me speak on this.
Let me tell you a story.
The puppet, kids really like that. You know, it just great.
Hey, let me just say one thing. In Mexico, the biggest followers of Yesca and Iguana are the kids. Big favorite for the kids.
I think Yesca's certainly making some new fans here tonight. Backstabber into the cover goes Lince Dorado for the win.
Corey, can I just interject there? Mr. Iguana is green.
He did.
Thank you.
One of his other interjections was, hey, Corey, Mr. Iguana, he comes from, and he named a small town, and he went, and that is where all most iguanas are in Mexico. Like that. And I was like, it's good, but it's the way he really sort of went, shut up.
It just.
Well, let me tell you something. He will incorporate La Yesca in the match, and he helps Iguana get out of a lot of tight situations. And I would also like to say that he's from Culiacan, Sinaloa, where Julio Cesar Chavez is from, and that has the most iguanas in Mexico.
Well, Lince Dorado not about to play games here with Mr. Iguana early on.
The thing is, the way he delivers it, like a senile old man, not saying he's a senile old man, but he's delivering it as if he's about to sort of say, stop the show. Liv Morgan is an iguana.
I did actually look at what La Yesca means. Everyone, see Mr. Iguana. How many of the other podcasts have gone and said actually what La Yesca means? It means two different things. One is the punk, which I think is the meaning behind it. And the other is Tinder, like Tinder for a fire or for having sex.
Right. Okay.
They did do a line where they were all standing around throwing the puppet from one to the other. And Corey Graves, this ain't your daddy's Jim Ross, is it? He said, so, hey, Konnan, is it true to say they're passing around ayahuasca? Like that. And ayahuasca is the psychedelic brew that people take when they go to Thailand.
And Corey will have done it.
I bet he's never done it, but I bet he tells people he has. I was a little bit like, is that why it's called La Yesca? Is it sort of slang for a natural drug or whatever it is? But no, it's the punk.
Mr. Iguana's for the kids.
You'd think Corey Graves, of all people, would know what the word punk was in every language.
He certainly would.
Konnan again here, he was sort of saying, Octagon Jr., he's going to wrestle so well tonight because he really wants to impress people so much.
To win a contract,
that he'll get to come back, he said.
Yeah.
The bar, I mean, AAA are owned now by WWE. The bar to come back when you're one of AAA's AAA stars and you're also, a WWE employee now. Yeah. I mean, imagine if they'd done that Backlash main event the other week with, John Cena versus Randy Orton. And they'd sort of kept on going on that Randy Orton's motivation in the match was that it would be good enough that he could come back. Just astonishing. I mean, Octagon Junior, he got the pin. It was good. I mean, look, nothing mind blowing, but it was. If you just stuck something like that on SummerSlam as the opening match, people would be raving and raving and raving about it. And Dominic Mysterio, who was in the crowd with Liv Morgan, he then did a nice, good Spanish promo, got into it with Octagon Junior, and then he challenged him at Money in the Bank, a match that Octagon Junior would lose. It was only when Dominic Mysterio got into the ring that you went, oh my God, even Dominic Mysterio is about a foot taller than everyone here. And it was. That's the difference, isn't it, between wrestling outside of WWE and wrestling inside.
I mean, they could not have been expecting that growth spurt.
No.
When he was a little boy on the telly.
No, absolutely.
They must be like, well, this has gone very well.
Oh, this was great. They probably stretch him, don't they? That's the sort of thing. You're our investment. The investment needs to be lengthened.
You've got to go to Guangzhou for a leg-breaking operation.
When he said as well, I'll see you at Money in the Bank, Konnan just went, wait a minute. Can he make his own matches? And it's like, oh,
Stop it, Konnan.
Mate, help us out a fucking second, eh? Come on, man. You get a little history of AAA then, and
I make my own matches?
Well,
Konnan
Konnan is
Mr.
the
Iguana
booker
now
of AAA.
Yes, I suppose he can. Yeah,
he can, but don't start flagging it up. You know,
Mr. Iguana's on ayahuasca. Oh
no, he's making his own matches.
Nice arm drag by Lindsay.
Layezga with a cover.
Yes.
Now, if Layezga were to execute the 3 count, does Layezga make the payday?
In Mexico, yes.
The WWE official YouTube account put up a video with the highlights of Mr. Iguana from Mr. Iguana's match. They thought, well, you're not going to be able to wait 12 minutes.
No.
We'll just take out Philip, the Mr. Iguana. The moment he came out, you were like, well, that Iguana puppet is going to be sold in the thousands.
Yes, yeah.
It's such a good act. Honestly, the moment during that match where he gets hit by, I think, Lindsay Dorado, and he just lies on his back with his legs stiff in the air, like a reptile does. That was the moment where you just went, well, he's over, isn't he? He's over.
He's not ours anymore.
And I felt for everybody else on the card.
Go home, turn it, and just shutter it now. You got what you came for, WWE. Get Mr. Iguana, get in that chopper and go. But with people like CM Punk at the helm, the best we hope for are jock comedians like The Miz, or jock comedians like, CM Punk seems funny, but he shouldn't be funny. He's wry. He's occasionally wry.
He's very wry. It's a little bit like he's a friend of a friend, and you go out and you go, he's nice, but sometimes he's just in a fucking foul mood. You go out at Mr. Iguana, you think he's going to be sitting there with his puppet going, oh, my hand's hot. No. Somebody's eating your dinner.
Yes, it's you, Mr. Iguana. You keep stealing every time we go out.
I got a lot of overheads. I got to buy makeup all the time. I need more of these puppets. Hard to source. Yeah, I get that.
You really have. If you are starting a gimmick and you grab the first thing that you see, you really should invest in 5 versions of the same thing.
Next from the Phenom 389X. Subject is Tony Khan's comments on Sting's AEW career. Did you hear this, Konnan? Oh my God. Tony Khan recently did an interview and had this to say about Sting's career in AEW. When you talk about some of the biggest names in pro wrestling, for me it starts and ends with Sting.
Second match is Stephanie Vaquer and Lola Vice versus Dalys and Chick Tormenta. I mean, this to me actually felt like, if you did watch a lot of AAA, this is the sort of match you'd see quite a lot. And what was interesting about it, I suppose, from a WWE point of view, is Dalys and Chick Tormenta, they don't look like the sort of women that WWE would normally employ. And it did remind me of the early days of NXT UK, where they had women who were of different body shapes and gimmicks and ages that WWE would normally just never even consider. And I like that. I think that's a big, important part of wrestling. I shouldn't think going forward they're going to be focusing hugely on Dalys and Chick Tormenta.
No.
Stephanie Vaquer, Pete, this might be your first time that you've really seen Stephanie Vaquer, isn't it?
Yes. My only kind of contact with her was she had an awful stalker, dickhead, big nightmare recently, and also Booker T's obsessed with her. That's right. That's all I've got.
I would say she is, for reasons I actually slightly find it hard to put my finger on, I would say she is one of the most celebrated and massive women wrestling stars in WWE.
Yes,
I
yeah.
cannot quite understand why she's so big. It's a combination of different things. So she started her career in Mexico, but she's actually from, I believe she's from Chile. And she worked her way through, got to NXT. AEW wanted to sign her. That's right, yeah. But it wasn't like people were losing their shit over her. Now they are. And I can't quite put my finger on why it is. We all like the horns that she wears when she comes out. She's got sort of strappy leg things, which are a little bit sort of latex.
There's a little bit of S&M in there. There's a little bit of Emily Booth from the horror channels of the 1990s.
That's right. She's got a sort of serene arrogance when she comes down to the ring, like she's got a wicked secret, and and then she's got a move called the Devil's Kiss, which I'd say 90 to 100% certain was named by William Regal, but it's a move where she puts her opponent's head face down between her legs, and then she moves her hips up and down to strike their head repeatedly into the canvas. And it's a lady's bum going up and down.
It's a lady's bum going up and down. And I don't know who she's doing it on because I couldn't see her head.
Yeah.
But she famously told someone to like arch their back or, move backwards or move their legs because they weren't taking the move right. And I was thinking, I don't think any of this looks good. None of it looks necessary.
I mean, the crowd booed when she went for it in the opening moments of the match and didn't get it on, and you go, oh, okay. Right. Okay, that's
it's
they
that,
like
right?
they,
like the bum.
is it?
I like the bum.
You like that bit. You go, and that was a bit disappointing.
Right.
Although, let me tell you, Pete, I liked it when Lola Vice did it. Let's carry on. Lola Vice is I would say, one of the only wrestlers who makes me feel a little bit hot and bothered. I think
right,
she's,
okay. Why is that?
Because she's a former MMA fighter. She's a black belt in Taekwondo. She's very beautiful.
Right.
And I think I would feel safe in her arms.
Good news, everyone.
She's also Cuban, which I would very much. I like Cuban food, and I think. If people were like, "Oh, we've got to go to my folks for this Christmas," I'd be like, "Fucking yeah, we're going to have such a good meal." I cannot wait.
During this match, there was a man who I'm certain this isn't an official luchador, but there was a Mr. Weed luchador mask man who just basically had a luchador, and he's miming smoking a fat blunt when Io Sky comes. He stood behind Io Sky and he's going, "Oh, fat blunt."
I like the sky. The sky gets high. The thing I like most about this match was they cut to Negro Casas in the audience, and he was cheering on his wife Dalis. Big age difference there, which actually makes what I said about Lola Vice more acceptable, because in real life, Negro Casas, you've got a problem with me, then you've got a problem with Negro Casas and Dalis.
100%. First of all, I want to point out that Lola Vice is wearing an outfit representing the Cuban flag. So basically, when you start wrestling, whoever you debut with, if you're a guy, whoever you debut with, he's your padrino, your godfather. For women, it's...
shoulders down. La Madrina.
Exactly, the godmother. So Dalis...
Look at the power of Dalis. Shoulders down, pinning combination.
Was in her first match, so she's her madrina, and they have a lot of unfinished business.
Konnan had a good line here, actually, with Dalis and Chick Tormentor. He said, if you ever see them wrestle a bear in the woods, go help the bear. I did it a lot quicker than he did. And I thought, that's a great line. I really like that. But it did make me sort of think, I think there is a sort of stereotypical view that if you did go and see wrestling in Mexico, it's entirely feasible you might be able to go and see some in some woods where two women did wrestle a bear.
Did wrestle a bear, yeah.
Dalis, she's originally from Panama.
Says Konnan at one point, and to no one.
He does get worse through the show,
and they do objectify. And I'm not one to say that I'm any better. And when they do the Devil's Kiss, the double one, Graves says, "There's not many times when Booker T would be envious of me." Booker T has been on record being horrible about Graves, but this is one of those times. And Konnan wants to join in, doesn't quite know how to, and he just said, "What would Booker T say?" Oh yeah.
Yes.
And who's she pointing at? She just pointed at Booker.
Here we go.
She just pointed at Booker.
Here we go. Oh yeah. It's definitely right there. It's been a long week. It's
Into
been
the
a long
cover.
week. Not as
And
much
a hooker.
torque.
Yeah, I know
Not
we're
as
in
much
Vegas,
torque. But I tell you, it was still good, man.
Yeah.
There's a bit after this match where a TV presenter called Vera Rodriguez comes on, and she is dressed like Leather Tintin, and I could not be happier with her choice of clothing.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
It was what we would call in the old days baby shit brown. And
It really is baby shit brown.
yeah. Oh, but who is this Vera Rodriguez, Peter?
Who is this Vera Rodriguez, Mark?
How did she end up doing the WWE? She's somebody's wife.
Oh, right, I see.
She is the wife of Finn Balor, and
Oh,
she
yes.
is, she's a broadcaster, so she's been doing that for years. So a fine fit.
Yeah.
I would say after the next match, things go. I'm going to rattle through, Pete, just because I think it became far more Americanized as it went
Yes.
through. We get the Legado del Fantasma, who are a SmackDown act, but who are had been big stars and are the sons also of big stars, taking on El Hijo de Dr. Wagner, Pagano, and Psycho Clown.
Oh, I like, well, Legado del Fantasma,
Yeah.
I couldn't give a toss about. They look like strippers who'd leave foundation on your dress.
Boring, weren't they?
Boring. But I love El Hijo de Wagner. He has
Yeah.
got a hell of a theme. Pagano
Lovely
came
theme.
out to a lovely version of La Bamba.
Yeah.
And Psycho Clown. How long's he been doing this? I
Long
feel
time.
like Psycho Clown's been around a long time.
Yeah, well, he's also been a big main eventer for a number of years, and I've always had a slight issue with Psycho Clown insofar as I don't like his mask.
Right.
It's a mask that's got a face on it, and I think the best masks are the one where they cut them out and, like Penta, have drawn in a bit of face.
Yes.
Or they cover your face entirely. And his one it's got a
the
hole
tongue,
for his
isn't it?
mouth, but there's another mouth
It's
over it, and the tongue.
The tongue is at the
is
bottom.
the thing.
The tongue doesn't work.
You know, the old knock on masks would be, well, you can't convey a lot of the emotion that you can do without a mask. But his one is even worse because it's portraying at all times licky smile.
I didn't realise that Pagano is known as El Rey Extremo. Well, I didn't know that. Obviously, I didn't because I'm unfamiliar with Pagano's work. But Pagano is my new favorite wrestler. He's known as El Rey Extremo, the Extreme King. So then I was like, oh, Rey Mysterio is the Mystery King.
That's right.
I had no idea
That's
because I
right.
didn't know that Rey was king.
If you're Spanish, Rey Mysterio's name is shit.
It really is.
If you're English, it's
The
really
Mystery
good.
King.
Yeah. Oh, here he comes, Mystery King Jr. You know, we have Rey Mysterio
Robbie.
Jr. It sounds brilliant, you know? I mean, look, it was just good throughout this match as well. And I also got the feeling with El Hijo Dr. Wagner or Dr. Wagner III, I got the feeling from him that this is his moment. And he looks incredible. And he was one of the only people who did their promo vignette in English. And I think what he is saying is, I am ready. You know, I am the complete package. And I think he has got his eye very much on WWE. And you can see how he would fit in just because he looks the absolute business. He is your complete... If you were talking some awful AI program and went, paint me the perfect masked wrestler who's still active, then you get him. And he just looked great. I mean, look, Legado del Fantasma, they wrestled really well. They are normally on SmackDown doing nothing. The Garzas, who are the brothers, and Pablo Escobar, Santos Escobar, they knew this was a moment for them to actually have a good, decent match. And like the AAA stars, they're probably hoping to get noticed by WWE too, because they're lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
That should also be a warning alarm for a lot of people in AAA that, you know, the Mexican stars they do have, who can put on incredible matches like they did on this night, once they're in WWE, they are very much a secondary thought.
Konnan, is it safe to say you're expecting Phoenix to make more history today?
100%. To tell you the truth, it could be any of these guys. They're legitimate threats for Ethan Page's title.
Not a betting man, I see. I thought I was good at sitting on the fence. It seems like you might have mastered that art.
Like I said, they all have a legitimate chance. Why? Do you have a favorite?
I have no favorites. I have to be fair
Okay,
and
then why are you
unbiased.
coming at me like that?
Making sure you're paying attention.
The fourth match was the NXT North American champion Ethan Page taking on Rey Fenix, who is in WWE, the AAA Cruiserweight champion Laredo Kid, and G-Von Evans from NXT. This made me this made me feel like I'm worried this is the direction that AAA is going to go in, which was this felt like an NXT match to me. It didn't feel like Lucha.
It felt like a match I might have seen at Crystal Palace. Do you know what I mean? It just felt like one of them, really. It just didn't, nothing particularly...
The worry I always have about WWE is not that they step in and buy other promotions. It's that they step in and they start homogenizing wrestling. And wrestling is such a sort of wonderful language talked differently in different parts of the world. And that thing of watching the American style being reasserted as being, if you like, against what Konnan says, as the proper way of doing it, that is my real concern. And that the more we have these shows, the more the Mexican wrestlers are going to be trying to adapt to a WWE style in the hope of, advancing their careers. And the more people as they come in are going to be watching WWE matches instead of Lucha. And that's a big concern. Ethan Page pinned a Laredo Kid to remind everyone that a WWE champion can always beat a AAA champion. That was, again, a little point. It was, for me, the worst match on the card. I thought it was much too long, but it was still decent. It was perfectly decent.
100%. Let me tell you a story. When Rey Fénix was a little kid, Pentagon brought him to see Rey Mysterio at an autograph signing in Mexico City, and it was so packed that they broke windows and they had to shut it down, and he never got the autograph, and he started to cry, and I was able to introduce Fénix to Rey Mysterio like around 15 years later.
Are you taking credit for Rey Fénix in this business, Konnan?
Well, I did discover him.
And then, Petey, the last match, the main event, the AAA Mega Campeon, Vikingo, taking on Chad Gable. Just excellent, Pete, I thought. Yeah. The crowd had really dampened down during the Ethan Page match, and they never quite got them back, even when this match became quite spectacular. It's one of those matches which, again, you don't see all that often, where both men come out of it much bigger stars than before it started. The stock of both of them was just raised and raised and raised. And I thought it was just one of those matches you sort of go, for the night, for the position in the card, and for what it needed to do, it's hard to imagine how this match could have been any better. It was really, really good. Vikingo also looks very much like my brother-in-law Simon, which is distracting for me. You might sort of think, but how can that be? Simon's from Manchester, and Vikingo does have, he's got quite a sort of mank face.
El Hijo del Vikingo.
El Hijo del Vikingo. I kept watching it, and I was sort of like, Simon, no, Vikingo. There is one bit where Vikingo, he always has to do something in a match where you just go, what are you doing? It was going so well. What are you doing? And there's a bit where he rolls into the turnbuckle and he suddenly sort of does a little flip and he just rolls himself into a ball and he gets his leg stuck in the turnbuckle and he can't get it free. And Chad Gable is just standing there like, what the fuck's he doing? And the cameraman is just like, pull away. And they go over to Chad Gable. I did sort of go, what on earth were you doing, man?
Yeah, but he pushes the envelope in every other way. He just he just needs sometimes. Maybe just the ring needs to just teach him a lesson sometimes.
Yes. I like it because I sort of go, whatever you were trying was too hard for you. Imagine if anyone else tried it. It wouldn't even get near the turnbuckle.
There's a bit of his special head scissors that he does that does incorporate what can only be described as, Mark, the whirling candy. Yeah. He does do a bit of whirling candy in his head scissors.
Oh, you wait. Someone will do that in WWE, and the day after that, with everyone just going, it's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. You've got to check out this move. 2 years.
Oh, yes.
2 years.
You bastards.
He did a 630 splash from the top rope to the outside, and I'd been saying a couple of weeks ago about how Juventud Guerrera had the 450 splash banned in WWE after he caved in Paul London's face in the early 2000s. And I did think to myself, oh yeah, they've never done it since. And this came out, and I was like, well, it's back in it. It's back. It's got an extra rotation.
And I will say, but if you're going to trust anyone to do it, it is Vikingo. Vikingo only hurts himself. Vikingo's injured because of things he's done to himself, not anybody else.
And I would say that stands absolutely true until the last 3 minutes of this match, where he did a Mexican destroyer on the apron. To Chad Gable. And Chad Gable, I mean, you just, again, I'm watching that as it happened live. I was like, oh, well, we're never going to see this match again. That's going to go into the vault. But he was all right. I mean, there was a moonsault by Gable through Vikingo on the table. There was a poison Rana, a reverse Hurricane Rana, that was actually the best executed Rana. And, credit to Gable as well for taking it how he did. It just looked better than I've ever seen that move look. And it's always an impressive move. And that one was just, stick that in the dictionary. That is what it is. It was just brilliant. Until Vikingo eventually pins him with a 630. It was a shame that the crowd weren't loud and molten for this, because I think it would have pushed it over and people would have been like, that was a match of the year. It did have moments because of the crowd silence where it just felt like you were bored, and that's a shame. And then everyone comes out to celebrate Vikingo. There was a bit where Graves just shows a little clip of the 630 and he shouts, "My God, listen to the energy of the Spanish announcers." And I was like, I wish I fucking had. I wish I'd had that commentary on and the energy. That's really what this sort of needed.
And, to WWE's credit, they put it out on YouTube, and that is something that, that's how you build audience.
No one's going to pay for this shit, they said. Then not even any stars. Pagano.
He's heavy.
So there you go. Look, that's the very, very start of the AAA WWE relationship. And Pete, we'll be here to document it every step of the way. Pick out new stars 2 years before anyone else does. And genuinely be shitty.
Keep your eye on the new announcer by the name of Konnan. He is tip for the top. Tip for the top.
Clear the deck. Here comes Evans.
Whoa!
Are you guys okay?
Are you kidding me? Bro, they just landed right next to us.
Everybody all right over there, gentlemen?
I wish they would have taken out all three of the Spanish announcers.
Thankfully,